Hey everyone, Ben here. I have a message for someone. Right when I was connecting, sirens, emergency sirens were going off. So a warning or trying to grab someone's attention, an emergency. I then felt a little bit of heartburn, which could just be, viewed as stress or possibly physically in the heart. That also kind of connects with our throat because if it bubbles up. I then had a view like I was at there was a bridge, countryside. The bridge wasn't a very large bridge, but it was, you know, two cars could pass through it. And it was made out of like stone, cobblestone type. To one side, there was almost kind of want to call it a pond, but it was a large tributary. And on the other side, there was a fast moving stream, if you will, feeding it. The all the vegetation, like the trees and the grass and the plants all around, the landscape, were very vibrant, and it appeared that a thunderstorm just took place. If you've ever experienced that in the summertime afterwards, like right after a storm, a lot of the vegetation is very vibrant. It has this interesting hue of green that you really can't tell. And I think it has something to do with obviously the moisture in the air and the sun passing through it. So at that point, the wind began to pick up, to dry everything off. So this could have been viewed as a tower moment or a renewal, a cleansing. When we do think of a storm, obviously sometimes it ruins people's plans, but we need it. We need the rain to keep our ecosystem functioning. And sometimes it's a purification process. Uh, what came through then was emphasizing the stream flowing into the basin. And what came through is uh, a lot of energy, an enormous amount of energy was being put into something. And then when we look at the other side, this pond or basin, it was very stagnant and it was huge. Let's just say our stream was this big and then the pond was like this big. So we had all this energy going into something and it crossed the bridge, like it went over there, but that was it. And if you've ever seen a pond, like along the edges, sometimes there's a bunch of algae floating just along the edges. There's no water moving it. So we are very emphasizing on the idea that we put a lot of energy into something, but we're not doing anything with it. And then what came through was love of the game. You think of love of the game, you know, you do it because you're passionate about it. You're all in. You're committed through the ups and downs. And then love of fear came through. So when we're doing something, excuse me, if we're acting out of fear, it's kind of like we should act out of love. If we fear the game, that might be where the stagnation's from. We're afraid of the outcome, whatever that may look like. Then it's hard to hold the face when you're not feeling it, which pretty much goes in line with maybe we're presenting ourselves in a way like we want to, but we're afraid of the outcome of something. There has been a couple of readings that kind of coincide with this whole thing, or messages, I should say, recently that are focusing on this, but I'll let you dissect it as it works for you, if it does. A phrase from another message: to sing in the rain is not that fun. It's not. It's we're get an image that singing in the rain or kissing in the rain is fun, but in reality, at that point, I got very cold and tired. Being out in that weather all that time is exhausting and is unpleasant. But maybe we're putting on a face that it is okay, or we're presenting ourselves as everything's fine and it's not. Maybe we are truly carrying a fear and not just going in authentically okay with whatever happens because we love the game, we are passionate, and we're okay with the outcome. But our fear is holding us back. We put all this energy into it and it's just sitting here stagnant. We don't know what to do with it. Well, we do, but we won't, maybe. At that point, now comes the heat, the comfort. It began to get warm and I was comfortable again. Uh, it was significant. I got a phone call. I didn't answer it, but it was ringing, and someone needs your attention came through. Asked for a closing message, and the sirens began again. So I don't think it didn't feel like a warning or an emergency that it was impending doom. It was more like, hey, time to move forward, do something with this. We had some supporting cards here. Got the two of wands reversed. Hesitation, which totally goes in line with, you know, our putting all of our energy into it. And then we have this basin of all this product or ideas that we're not doing anything with. We're a plan without action, fear of commitment. My random word of the day today was marriage, and supporting angel number card was fully commit. This is taking a step into fully committing something. Obviously, marriage doesn't have to just be with a person. It can be with a goal, a plan, a lifestyle, whatever it may be. Let's say we bought a bunch of exercising equipment and we don't want to use it now. Fully commit. We took all the steps to do it, but we don't want to do it. The love of the game. Do it when you don't like it. There's a reward afterwards, type of deal. Next card was Five of Pentacles in reverse. Resilience. Going to get through this. If we're going from scarcity to abundance through this, how could we not? Put all this energy into something. We just need to take the final step. And depending on what it is, that can be scary. I get that. It's not just in a physical aspect, it could be in an emotional aspect of rejection, or they do say a lot, fear of success. What would that look like when we're so used to having this life of so? What would success look like? Do we deserve it? Getting out of that mindset that we do deserve it. Our next card was Three of Pentacles. Collaboration, skill development, teamwork. This doesn't just mean physical, like with physical people. This could be spiritual. This could just be with yourself. We have all these different aspects that we may view as bad, but they serve a purpose. And if we collaborate, people say our light side and our shadow side. Obviously, bringing those two together and working together is a machine that can't be stopped. There's good in everything, and when we look at it as bad, we can only view it that way until we see it differently. But this also could be collaboration with a person, because our next card, Five of Swords reversed, reconciliation, a resolution, peace, letting it go. Maybe this was a mindset that we're letting go. We're letting go of this fear. But if it did involve a person, maybe we were working on something with someone and it fizzled out, or we didn't agree on something. We're going to make peace with it and move forward. But by taking this step forward, number one, we put a bunch of energy into it. Everything's ready to go. We take that step forward. We have the Emperor. Discipline, structure, order, responsibility. We're moving forward. There's a huge reward. And what do they always say as well? Whatever's scary is the thing you should be running towards. When we were built or conditioned a certain way from young, to have the courage to take a risk is hard to find at a time, especially when they say do this and not that. Whatever this is, even if it's just a hobby, there's a huge reward in a hobby, let alone, if it's work related or business, or even in a relationship. There's a huge reward. Yeah, we do get rejected sometimes and it hurts, but that's going to help us move forward. Maybe there is something good in that rejection that helps us see something differently. We don't see everything. We have our view of how things are, but outside criticism can go a long way. as long as we take it positively and not let it hurt our ego and take us down. So I think with that, I'm just going to leave it there, and I wish you the best. Take care.